Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Janelle and I am one part of the Growing with the Green Streets duo. Okay, so today I wanted to go over my infertility story. I just love watching these on YouTube. I feel like they really give me an idea of what other people are going through. They make me feel not so alone. When I first started going through infertility, I really felt like I was the only one in the world going through it. After I watched YouTube videos and I saw that other people were going through the exact same thing, it just made me feel like I had a community of ladies out there, and guys too, that just kind of had an idea of what I was going through. So I wanted to make my own video today and kind of tell you guys how the last year of my life has gone. So if that interests you, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I have it all written down here in my book, so don't mind me if I'm looking down at this. But we're going to start all the way back when me and my husband Kaylor got married. So we got married in June of 2018, and we had been together for years and years, so we had a ton of time to have the baby conversations, and we knew that we wanted to be young parents. So in the beginning of July, we went to an OBGYN that was recommended to us, and we just checked everything out, made sure that my body looked good, that I was at a healthy weight, that I wasn't malnutritioned or like didn't have enough vitamins, everything like that. And then the doctor told us what prenatal she wanted us on. So we got all of that out of the way, and then we started trying that cycle in July. I just remember the first time after I had ovulated and I swore I was pregnant. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be for me. And so I was making myself feel all of these symptoms, and then when my period came that first month, I was devastated. Little did I know I would have many more periods to come. So flash forward about 6 months, come December, I started to get a little bit worried. Even though the doctors tell you that a year is average, you know, I'm really young, I'm healthy, my husband's young, he's healthy, so I just wasn't quite sure why we weren't getting pregnant. So I ended up calling a acupuncturist, and she actually is a fertility specialist. So we had an over the phone consultation, and I told her everything that had kind of happened and how my cycle was going and everything like that, and she wanted to see us. So we went in December and we had the consultation, and there was a couple things that she noticed right off the bat. So the first thing that she noticed was that I was ovulating late. So I was ovulating cycle day 22 and later, and then my luteal phase, or the phase after ovulation, was only about 10 days. So that is not long enough for an egg to implant into the uterus and start to grow. It gets flushed before it can even try to implant. So that was one thing that she noticed. The next thing that she noticed is that she thought I could possibly have endometriosis. As of right now, we don't think I have that anymore, but at the time she was thinking that I had it because before my birth control, when I was in middle school and high school, my periods were absolutely horrible. And this was for years and years and years. So that was kind of a concern that she had, and if the acupuncture didn't help within the first 3 months, she wanted me to go and get that checked out. But thankfully, foreshadowing, it did help a lot. So as of right now, we are not concerned about that for the time being. And then the next thing that she pointed out, and that since then we have noticed is absolutely true, is that I have multiple LH surges. So my body is trying to ovulate multiple times a month, and it's not actually ovulating. So I will get to that further on in the story, but that was something that she was wondering about too, because my temperatures were not rising after I would have an LH spike, and then a couple days later I would have another one, and they still wouldn't rise. So we did the acupuncture for about 4 months. It definitely started to regulate my cycle a little bit more, and it did push my ovulation closer. So I did get it to about between day 16, day 18, which was great. It was absolutely working. But then come February, I just fell into a really deep slump. I really thought I would be pregnant by then, and I just started to really hit a wall. So we decided to take a break from everything fertility and just kind of live our lives and come back to it when I was ready and when I felt comfortable. And then, lo and behold, in May, I conceived. So in May, I had not been testing at all since February. And then I just had this intuition one day that I needed to test to see if I was pregnant. So I did, and I got a fairly dark line. It wasn't as dark as what I would expect and what I've seen now, but it was dark and I was definitely pregnant. So I called my doctor and they got me in that same day for an HSG test. And so here are my numbers. So I went in on DPO 15, so that was on a Friday. So then on Monday, they wanted me to come back in, get tested, and my numbers should have more than doubled because they are supposed to double every 24 hours. So I went back in that Monday, which was 3 days later, and my HCG was only at 46. So it had hardly even doubled. It hadn't even doubled in 3 days. And so that was a fairly big concern. But then on top of that, my progesterone was only at a 4, which is way, way, way too low. But on the phone, they told me that they didn't think it was looking very good. And I was absolutely devastated. I've never cried so many tears in my life. So my husband and I prayed about it all night, but just mother's intuition, I knew it wasn't going to be good. And I did start miscarrying 2 days later. And then I went in and I got a recurrent loss panel. So they basically tested me for all kinds of blood clotting disorders. And we actually found that I have the gene mutation MTHFR. I have the specific one that is C677T heterozygous, so I only have one mutation instead of 2, so I only got it from one parent. And this can cause miscarriages. Some doctors will argue that it doesn't, but my doctor believes that this can cause recurrent miscarriages. So they put me on a low-dose aspirin as well as 3 milligrams of folate on top of the 800 mcg folate that I'm already taking in my prenatal. So I'm taking a ton of folate because basically this gene means that you cannot take folic acid, which is the synthetic form that you find in most prenatals, and you can't convert that to folate, which is the usable form. So we checked that off the list. I didn't have any other blood clotting disorders. And so they said, okay, let's wait until your next cycle happens and you're about to ovulate, and then we'll do an ultrasound and a blood test to see if you are ovulating. So we waited for the next cycle, and then on cycle day 16, we went in for a ultrasound. And they found that not only am I not ovulating, but my follicles are very, very small. So that would explain why the LH is surging, but nothing is coming out because the eggs aren't mature enough. And they had me come in the next day, and my eggs had not really grown. I was not ovulating. So that kind of takes us to where we are. I have a test in 2 days to test my progesterone. And then next cycle, we are beginning Clomid. So that's where we're at right now. We're starting medicated cycles next month, and I cannot wait. I'm praying that this is all that we need to get pregnant, and I will of course take you guys along with me. So there you have it, guys. That is my infertility journey thus far. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please leave a comment down below if you have any questions or video ideas. But yeah, that is my life story. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.